What has been most exciting all along the way, Stevie, so far? What's been most meaningful, maybe, to you as an artist?
Just the pleasure of meeting a lot of people and being able to go and tour and really observing a lot of things that exist in the world today. It gives me a better understanding of not only the world but myself, which I think, meeting people it's always been fantastic. I never dreamed that I would be able to do this, so I really treasure this.
Have you been with them on any of the European tours?
I did a tour of Paris, France, and also Great Britain. Just did a Far East tour. Well, I did it in when did I do that? In February with Martin Vandellas.
Any differences that that strike you that might be interesting to point out?
Well, it does not, being the Far East does not remind you of America. The only city I see is Tokyo, because Sony is very popular in the States. Sony, hey, Sony. But the people are very warm, very, very warm. I must say that I enjoyed it even more than Europe.
There's no problem when you sing in the language barrier, then?
They seem to enjoy it. Actually, they don't. The Japanese language would be almost impossible to change. To sing a tune like "I Was Made to Love" or "Uptight," because they've got so many syllables. Really made it.
Yeah, how do you say "uptight" in Japanese? I don't think I know.
You don't know how to say that? No. But they seem to. We had a very good crowd. Most of the shows we did army bases, but majority of the people were Japanese people. I also did a show in Okinawa. It was very interesting.
What's happened to of course they used to call it rhythm and blues music. They don't call it that, I don't think, much anymore. What's happened, though, to the kind of music that you do since you started out with Motown and the present? What changes have you noticed in that period of time?
Are you speaking of just Motown or just music?
Well, I'm talking about the kind of music that you're doing, or that Motown is doing.
Well, I think actually R&B is, as far as Motown, R&B is still R&B. I say that more pop stations are playing R&B, or more R&B is being played on pop stations now than before. I think really Motown has done a great job of this, but really who's really done the most fantastic job would be Atlantic, with Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, if really Wilson Pickett. Motown, I guess, would be the first, and then I'd say Atlantic now. As far as hearing the R&B on the pop stations. But it's still R&B. It's changed somewhat. If you notice, for instance, the Coaster song, Charlie Brown, if you listen to the beat now, it's the same beat, only it's in the half tempo, if you understand what I'm saying. Whereas Charlie Brown, he's a clown, you go like, Charlie Brown, you understand what I'm saying? It's just it's just broken it down to the half of the tempo.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Well, we'll think about that and see. You were talking about Fats Domino and of course Ray Charles from that period, but there were a lot of other people who were, I think, have been forgotten too quickly. And Frankie Lyman was certainly one of them. You want to kind of reminisce a bit?
Well, I guess I was about I was young then, about 29. No, no. Frankie Lyman. I remember a song, "Why Do Fools Fall in Love," and even before coming into the profession, I'd always wondered how were they able to go to school, you know. And many of the teachers that I knew would always tell me, "Well, you know, kid, you can't do this. You could never be an artist because, you know, you got to finish school and this and that." And I sort of believed within myself that it could be done, but unfortunately, I hadn't heard of it being done before. But maybe you know more about that period than I do. Being that I was out of the field, I was.
Well, when you mentioned Frankie Lyman, I got to thinking about a group called the Cleftones on the same label that did "Little Girl of Mine." You remember that one? It's about the same year. Because that was a long, long time ago.
Who did Peanut?
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 No, I can't remember that. Can't remember that. That was 57, though, I think.
57? Oh, that's...
Thurston Harris and some of those people. Bobby Day, who did Rockin' Ramen.
Was it recorded on the West Coast?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I know Mickey Stevens wrote that. I think he wrote part of it or something. Who used to be with Motown.
I was surprised to find out that Berry Gordy had written so many songs prior, you know.
Jackie Wilson's.
Oh, yeah.
Along with Eddie Holland. Eddie Holland, who is the brother of Brian Holland, like I was mentioning before, Eddie did a lot of the demos for Jackie's songs that he did with Barry. Lonely Teardrops he did a demo for, and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
Heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
But school was something that I knew I had to do, I wanted to do, and I still wanted to do something with myself, you know, as far as traveling, being something. And in 1963, with the help of Dr. Thompson, who was a superintendent of the School for the Blind, they got together a program for me that would enable me to travel and also to study and finish my education, get a little dumber.
How much longer? Do you have any idea? How far are you into this now?
This is my last year of school.
Tremendous.
I plan to move out here and go to USC.
Oh, that's good.
You sure you like that idea? Be a disc jockey.
I don't think so. Surely there's something better than that.
Oh, I was getting away. You said I don't think so. No, I've always wanted to be a disc jockey, actually.
Yeah.
It's something that I really want to do. But what I'm going to major in, actually, is composing and arranging. And what else? What else can I major in? Think. Maybe a disc jockey, definitely.
Okay.
Being a disc jockey.
See, I think we'll find out about the movies. Is this, you've done this, or is it something that's coming up, or what?
Yeah, I played as a policeman in a movie. No, just kidding. I did 2 movies, Muscle Beach Party and Bikini Beach. And in Muscle Beach Party, which is the first one, I did Happy Street.
Mm.
And yeah.
How did
Oh man.
How'd you like that routine?
It was very interesting. This particular teacher, she was very dull, really she was. The first year we came, we met everyone, the cast and everyone. Then we met this woman, and she says, "Well, I am the teacher, and I happen to be the one that's going to teach him this week." And I guess she wasn't aware at that particular time that I could not see. And so Mr. Ted Ho was my private teacher. He said, "Oh yeah," he says, how are you going to do this? He doesn't see. She says, well, So what she did, she had to have me for, I think it was at least 2 hours of the 4 hours that I had at school.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me about her dog and about this and that. It was very interesting. I guess she'd never came across that problem before. Eventually we got an understanding. Every time that I was off the set, I would have to study something,
Mm-hmm.
We'd do this particular scene, and I'd be off cameras, and then she'd tell me this, and then we'd go back on. And that lasted from like 9 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock at night. She left about 4:30. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
We did get both movies mentioned, right? Yeah. Okay. I think so. I think you mentioned the second one.
I can't remember the tune on the second movie.
I can't either.
You heard the song, Don?
No, I don't. Let's see. Maybe Happy Street was the second.
No, Happy Street was the first tune. The second tune was... Let me see. It was...
I'm sure one of them will go down the annals of musical history.
Positive of that. What was it though?
Oh, you got me, Stevie. I can't remember.
No, it makes me mad.
Wasn't that right around Harmonica Man time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was saying old garbage.
Before.
Yeah.